So this is what happens to your shoes when you store them below decks on your boat for a season or two. I didn't wear these this winter because it was such a mild winter, otherwise I would have got them out 6 months ago and started wearing them, but I've not had to wear anything other than trainers this winter. Anyway, we're going to see whether Doc Martens, these are police Doc Martens, whether these can be revived. We're starting with a baby wipe. Look at that. Starting with a baby wipe. Because now that it's summer, I want to store these below decks again, but not like this. They need to be cleaned. But they can't be wet. They'll need to be cleaned and polished and dried. And then we'll have to spray some fungicide inside. See that? Look at that. Bit hard to undo those knots. So we've got, doing the back, this is the back of the lace holes, there is actually mould throughout the boot. So the mould inside is going to be very hard to get rid of. So there's mould in there, not much, because this is like raw leather in here, this isn't shiny leather. For some reason the raw leather doesn't seem to take the same amount of mould as the shiny leather, which is interesting. Perhaps the moisture doesn't stick to rough surfaces as much as it finds itself on shiny surfaces. The water condenses on the shiny surfaces, does it not? So we've done all the way down as far as I really can reach into that boot. Now look at that, it's looking a lot better, isn't it? Then we will let them dry off, then we'll get to the polishing stage. Went into the cupboard and we found a clothes brush, a putter on a brush, a shiner brush, a shiner cloth, and 2 types of polish. Now I've actually got Dub in there, which I think, this is Regimental High Gloss and this is Dubbin, so I think actually I ought to use Dubbin. Got another bit of cloth here. Don't need much of the cloth, it's about that, just about a foot square. You want to roll it round to make a sort of pad. In fact, I think it's even suggested sometimes that you put this on with your fingers. It heats it up somehow. It ends up with a kind of nice pearlescent kind of quality to it, which I think looks really nice actually. So you don't need to shine it, you're simply rubbing it on. Rubbing it on, and to some degree rubbing it in. Pay particular attention to the areas that, you know, got the worst of things. I mean, I've got actually some stitching coming away at the back there that needs redoing. Might have to go and buy some leather needles to do that. Now, I was always taught that you also polish the edges of the soles of your shoes. Can you see which is which? This one's been dubbined, this one hasn't. So now I'm going to dub in this one. And then I'll come back to you at the end and we'll do a before and after. So I have also found that the back, this one's going in the same place at the back there. The stitching's going there. So the actual thread is wearing out. But it's probably to do with how I took them on and off. I probably didn't take on and off very well. Probably kicked them on and off, put too much stress on that joint. But see, this is one of the reasons that you have to keep everything spotlessly clean so constantly in the army. And it's the same logic why you're supposed to keep your motorbike clean, because in so doing you get to inspect it all over, and then you will see things like that which, if you were going on a 20-mile run through the rain, or worse, the snow, and you had not noticed that that was like that, it could cause you a real problem, especially in an actual situation. Do the edges. As we're doing the edges, we're looking closely at the welt. As we do these edges, we're looking at the welt. So again, that's another argument for polishing the edges of your shoes, because you're going to be looking edge on. You're going to be looking down it like that. And again, that's a very important place for seeing something wrong that needs rectifying. Back around there is important. Tends to get a lot of wear for some reason as well. And then if you have missed a little bit here and there, maybe on the welt, you can do it as you're cleaning those edges. You'll have what you need on the cloth, and you can just rub it into there. But yeah, I mean, it's quite hard to get deeply, properly into that welt. And in the process of digging that cloth into the welt, you get a sense of how sturdy the leather still is and how sturdy that seam still is. These welts are fine. As far as the sole being connected to the shoe, it's perfect all the way around still. If it looks a bit scrappy, buff it. Just buff it in circles, right? To really even it out, buff it in circles. You're not polishing it, this isn't polish. You're just buffing it, you're just evening it out and creating an even texture, if you like. Making sure there aren't any big blobs anywhere. Okay, so we're not going to go inside with it. Not even on the inside of the lace holes. We're not going to put dub in anywhere else except on the outside of the shoe. Now the little cloth that we used, that's going to probably go rock solid, so we will throw that away. Don't reuse that. And here are the boots completed. They're completely dubbined now, completely polished, looking very, very lovely. Like I say, we're in the process of cleaning them. Well, let's just show the before. So this is what happens to your shoes when you store them below decks on your boat. And then the after. And in the process of cleaning them, we've discovered that this stitching is coming away at the heel here and will need repairing. But, you know, your shoes come up to there. This is extra, this is the gaiter, and this is the shoe. So, yes, there's a bit of detachment between the gaiter and the shoe. Doesn't make them unwalkable, but it needs attending to. There's my Dr Martens, looking ready to roll in the British countryside, but they're going away again now until I next